Is going on, faithfuls? It is your boy Mike from the Nothing But Niners crew. Guys, we are here. Day one, a couple of days late, but day one of March Madness is upon us. I want to thank you all for your patience. I want to thank you all for your understanding. And let's have some fun. For those of you who are new here, what we do in the month of March, at midnight, we go live, and it is a 15-minute Q&A section. All right. No super chats necessary. If you guys want to send them, please feel free to. But no super chat necessary. And I run down all of the comments. And if there's a question in the comments, I answer them in order. They can be personal. They can be about football. They can be about food. They can be about cars. They can be about animals. They can be about anything you want. I will answer the question as long as I'm allowed to legally here on YouTube. All right. So, let's go ahead and get to it, man. Let's see where we are here. Mark with the first one of the night, man. Let's go. He says, OG Big Mike, I know you see here different than most when it comes to 49er pressers, but thoughts on what Schefter said on McAfee about money being tight when it comes to Purdy's extension. All right, so I have to be honest with you. I did not see that, so I will have to go back and watch it. But I'm having some difficulty understanding the amount of cap space the Niners have, the amount that they are rumored to be about to create with a couple of extensions and things of that nature with Kittle and Warner and all that, and then money being tight. I don't quite get it. I think this tight money rumor came from the word that Jed York was looking to sell 10% of the team, right? He's looking for $900 million in cash. And the weird thing is people assume that all has something to do with football, right? Like if you own the team and you want to sell a part of the team, you could use that money to buy cows if you want it. Like there's no direct correlation to it going back to football. So I think that's where the whole money is tight thing kind of came from, but it's all about structure, guys. I mean, we know what the Niners do well. They manipulate the cap and they move this money around like nobody's business. But if you saw the breakdown that Tony and I did on Patreon concerning the John Lynch presser, John Lynch kept mentioning cash. He didn't talk about cap. He talked about cash. And so there's something there. I don't know what it is yet. I haven't quite put my finger on it. I will go back and try to catch what Shefty said on the McAfee show, but I'll find out about it. I don't think any of us have anything to worry about when it comes to Brock Purdy and his contract. I think it's going to get handled. All right. 49ers Twitter is saying, if you read between the lines of what Shefty said, it comes across as York Prague don't see 13 as the guy and won't fold for Purdy like they did for Debo, Bosa, Ayuk. Thoughts? It's very interesting, man, right? I think outside of Fred Warner, Trent Williams, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to say outside of those two, the guys that the Niners have paid the most at their respective positions have kind of let the Niners down as far as productivity. Debo, I think after he got his deal, it was a letdown, right? Bosa, I know it's injuries and all that stuff. Same thing with Debo, but a letdown as far as productivity. Ayuk, injuries, but still a letdown, right? Kyle Juszczyk, 3 years in a row now they're looking for contract restructure and take a pay cut, right? That's 3 years in a row. I think it's fair to say that they're let down with him being the highest paid guy. Trent Williams, they got a couple good seasons out of him, but we're heading towards that letdown phase as well, right, with Trent Williams. I think it's fair to say that when you keep making these guys the highest paid at their respective positions, there's going to be some letdown. There's going to be some fall off. And while I do think that there could be some trouble in paradise, hey, let's not break the bank. Let's not make everybody we re-sign the highest paid at their respective positions. I don't know if quarterback is the spot you cut the corner at. If Purdy is just a guy, then there's no need to have this conversation if he's just a guy. You can get a guy to come in and play quarterback for the 49ers. You can get a guy to come in and run a Kyle Shanahan offense if you surround him with good weapons. We've seen it. We've seen it. If he is a franchise guy, then the market's the market. If he's the guy, you don't have these debates. You don't go back and forth. And I do think that this season showed some reasons to pause, hesitate, some reasons for concern for Purdy. I know a lot of people are going to make all the excuses about the weapons and the offensive line and so on and so forth. And all those things factor into why Ayuk wasn't that good this year, or why Bosa wasn't that good this year, or why Debo. All these things are factors, right? But if you're not going to say that all those other pieces are the reason that one guy wasn't good, then you can't say all those pieces aren't the reason why Purdy wasn't good. So I think you got to pick a side, make a hard stance, and stand in it. If they feel that way, then cool. I think there's a lot of 49 fans out there that say Brock Purdy's not worth $60 million. I think there's a lot of 49 fans out there that say I wouldn't give Brock Purdy $50 million. But the market is the market. So he's either going to be your guy, forget the guy, a franchise guy. He's either going to be your guy or he's not. And if he's not, you offer him something small. If he says no, then you deal with whatever happens after that. All right? My man Mark, the trifecta here. He said, did the judges get it right for Tank versus Roach? And this is a boxing question, guys. Tank Davis, Gervonta Davis versus Roach here. While I had money on the fight, I did a little 6 or 7 card parlay, and I got paid for it because of the draw. Thankful for that. I did get paid for it. Tank should have lost that fight. He took a knee in a very important round, and that one knee that he took should have cost him that round. It turns out that 2 of the judges gave him that round. So instead of it being a 10-9 round in his favor, it should have been an 8-10 round against him, and that's a 3-point decision. So if the 2 judges had it a draw, that means that 2 of those judges wouldn't have had it a draw, and that should have been Roach's dub. So no, I don't think they got it right. Thoughts on Benavidez's chances versus Bivol since he got next? Oh, God, I was fighting that off for so long. Sorry. Benavidez has a good shot. It's all about how it's all going to be about how these guys prepare, right? Styles make fights and things of that nature, right? He's got a puncher shot. I think Bivol's going to be the favorite, but he's got a fighter's chance here. Give me some time to come back to that. I'll give you a more in-depth breakdown. I don't want to bore the viewers here. All right. I know we're only on for 15 minutes. We're a little more than halfway through. How big is the Canelo versus Crawford fight in September going to be, and who you got winning? The fight isn't happening, Mark. I don't know if you heard, but they canceled that, and now I got to double check because you're making me scared. Crawford versus Canelo. I'm 90% sure this fight got canceled. Oh, shit. It's back on. This is as of 3 days ago. Oh! Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir, baby. All right. So now I got to do some more research. I got to see what weight class they're going to fight at. I think Canelo is naturally bigger than Crawford. And so if Crawford is going to move up to fight Canelo, Canelo's going to win this fight. Because Crawford, he's going to move slower. Canelo's naturally going to be able to move faster and hit harder. And he's going to be able to take the hits from Crawford. Now, Crawford is strong. He's strong for his weight class. And one thing that makes Crawford special as a boxer is that he was naturally left-handed and taught himself to fight right-handed. So he's got two dominant hands. So he hits just as hard with both hands. I think that'll be something that Canelo has never really faced before. But it is out in September. If Crawford can put on the weight now and walk around with that and get used to that weight for the next 6 months, then I reserve the right to change my mind. But right now, I'm gonna say Canelo, just for right now, just because he's moving up in weight. All right. Ali says, my guy, hope you're doing well, my bro. Give me your perfect 49ers offseason and what it would look like. I'll be honest with you, man. It's pretty short. You get the quarterback locked up, right? And the reason I say locked up, and that could be a franchise tag. Well, you don't have to tag him, right? You get the quarterback content to come in and play. If you guys can't come to an agreement and he agrees to come in and just play football, then cool, that works for me. All right, but you got to get the quarterback to agree to come in and play. That's number one. Number two, you get Dahlman from the Falcons. You go out and you get your center. You have to get your center. All right? You go out and get the guy, not a guy at center. 3, and this is the end-all, be-all, honestly. This might be more important than the center. There is no circumstance where you can walk away from this offseason and not have Myles Garrett on this roster. You can't let the Eagles outbid you. You can't let the Bears outbid you. You can't let any other team in the NFC outbid you for Myles Garrett. I don't care what it takes. You get him. You get Myles Garrett, you get a Super Bowl. All right? Now, obviously, we just traded Debo. You want to see something happen in the form of a wide receiver, go out there and sign one of these veteran guys, draft a young guy, and let the cream rise to the top. All right? And if I had it my way, you find a way to keep Dre Greenlaw in the building. You find a way to keep Dre Greenlaw in the building. That's my perfect offseason. Greenlaw, Dahlman, Garrett, a wide receiver, just in case Ayuk isn't back as fast as we think he's going to be or as we want him to be. And that could also come in the form of a draftee. It does not have to be a veteran. And by the way, I do think that Myles Garrett can be had and the Niners still have pick 11. But that's another topic for another time. All right. Ben, thank you so much for the kind comments here. I'm going to get to your question, though, because I am running out of time. He says, my question is, since we want to go young, how will it play with new faces? Like we had tools and couldn't execute and try to build up again. You really feel now is the right time for the 49ers? I don't know. I think we have to be careful with the whole going young thing, right? I think what the 49ers have to do is not be afraid to let go of some of these veteran players that they have in the building. And this is coming off of the backs of me just telling y'all that I would bring back Dre Greenlaw, right? And it's not that I think Dre Greenlaw is old. It's just that he is someone who's been on the team. He's not on a rookie contract, right? I think we have to get younger, and then what we immediately think is, oh, they're talking about people being on rookie contracts. I don't think that's the case. We've got a lot of guys on their second and third contracts here, right? The Niners have guys here, and we also drafted old, right? Like we drafted guys 23 years old. Like, yeah, we're going to be the oldest team in the NFL when that's what you do. So I'm not super concerned about that. I'm not concerned about the age thing. But I don't know how it plays out. I think they're going to say, all right, well, we don't have to draft seniors. We don't have to draft 5-year seniors, 6-year seniors now. They might actually go out there and get some guys who were juniors that are entering the draft. They might actually go out there and let some of these veteran guys walk, right? We signed a lot of defensive linemen to 1-year deals that were long in the tooth. Let's face it. You let those guys go and you bring in a first-time free agent or you draft some defensive linemen, all of a sudden The average age on the team changes drastically. All right. Can Melissa or you upload the green tea drink you were sipping on during not which sipping on during not sure which game or cocktails you guys come up with? They sound so good. Okay. The green tea drink you were sipping on. Did this drink have alcohol in it, Ben? The green tea. So there's a couple of different green teas that I like. One of them is a brew one. And then like if I'm like in a rush, I try to get a green tea that does not have citrus in it. It's really hard to find, but Arizona iced tea makes one, but that one's really syrupy. It's one of my least favorites. But Lipton has one. I think the Lipton one has citrus in it. But it depends on if you're talking about like something that was like alcoholic. All right, there's a couple more questions in here, so I'm going to keep going because I owe you guys. So I said that if there were enough questions, I would go double time. I will go up to 30 minutes because I owe you guys. I have to make up for the shows that I've missed. All right. So if you guys keep the questions coming, normally we stop at 15 minutes. You guys keep them coming. I will answer. All right. Ben says, "What would be your last meal? You can pick up to 4 to 7 items." Oh, my last meal. All right, so I'm on my way out. I'm assuming like I'm on like death row or something like that. I would want my wife's spaghetti. There's a cornbread that she just started making, and she tweaked the recipe. She added milk instead of water to the mix. I would have the cornbread with it, and a juicy, medium cooked steak, perfectly seasoned. Those are the only 3 things I want. If I'm dying, if it's my last meal, I don't want no fucking vegetables. I'm lying. I would like some corn on the cob, some buttery, garlicky, salty corn on the cob. I don't even know if corn's considered a vegetable. It might be, but yeah, that's the one. All right, so those are the items I would want. Wait, did I miss the click, click, boom? Did you? Did I say it? If I didn't, click, click, boom. There you go. What's going on, faithfuls? It's part 2 of day 1. All right. Let me see here. What we got comments here? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? 4. Do you think the Niners will trade for a big-time player this offseason? Yes, I do. Myles Garrett. What position are you most excited to see how this team addresses? Most excited to see how we address? I'm going to say defensive tackle. I think defensive tackle. That's going to be really, really exciting because that's going to make or break the season. You can have good edge rushers, but if you can't stop anybody from running up the middle and gashing you, it's all for naught. So I'm going to say defensive tackle. That's going to get me excited. Smokes. Oh, that's not a question. Sorry there. And 49's always Purdy's the guy. Okay, here we go. Here's a question here. Mike, what do you think of Brock Purdy getting 5 years, $300 million, $180 million guarantees, $60 million a year? It sounds like a lot, but I imagine that the contract comes in close to that. I really think the contract comes in close to that. They might try to make it look fancy, like, oh, we got him. Like it might be like 4 years and 200 and let me see. Hold on. Let me see. $239 million to make it look like they got them just under $60 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Like they might tweak it a little bit, but that $60 million a year, it looks like that's what it's going to be. As far as what do I think? Do I think Brock Purdy is worth? Do I think Brock Purdy? What I give? I don't know how to answer this question. Right? When I think of a $60 million quarterback, I don't think Brock Purdy is that. Right? But when you think of the market says if he's the franchise guy, then he is. All right. Do you watch comedy specials? I do sometimes. If not, Ali Sadiq is who I recommend. I will check that out. I'm going to actually text that to my wife right now because I will absolutely forget. All right. So, Ali Sadiq comedy special. All right. Boom. It's in there. Ben said, yes, it had alcohol. All right. So I will have to ask my wife. So she does, when I'm on my shows and she's my waitress, she just brings me what she thinks I like. So I have no idea what she puts in those things. So I'll have to find out for you. Okay. You ever watch The Wire? If you have, do you consider it a goated show? I watched 4 episodes of The Wire and never turned that shit on again. Not interested in it. So there, I have this thing, right? Like the New Jack Cities and all the black drug shows and movies, like those things have never really appealed to me. Um, like I feel like you've seen one, you've seen them all. Um, I started watching what was the one with Franklin? Uh, I can't remember what it was called, but it was loosely based on true events. Oh God. Anyway, I watched the first 2 seasons of that, and I thought that show was really good because of the mindset and how they portrayed the kid from like the private school turning to the streets and thinking he was smarter than everybody else. Right? He wasn't the strongest, wasn't the fastest, the toughest, or anything like that, but it was like a mindset. Right? It's kind of like why I like the first 2 seasons of Power. But after a while, that shit just I'm over the whole drug shit. It's just not my thing. I couldn't care less. Um, I know it's corny, but would you watch Yellowstone? And yes, corn is a vegetable. I actually do watch Yellowstone. I saw the first 3 episodes. The issue is my wife and I watch them late at night when we're in bed and we fall asleep. So we have not gotten past the first 3 episodes. We have watched the first two again, and they are really good so far. The person who does Yellowstone also has a litany of other shows that are out right now, and they are all phenomenal. Like all the shows are phenomenal. So I do recommend Yellowstone. I can't wait to get back into it. All right. Um, are you about are you about having the latest phone, or hey, if it works, I don't need one? Um, I'm in the middle right now. Right. So my phone is not the latest phone. This phone is 2020. It's the Note Galaxy or the Samsung Note 20 Ultra, and it is the last. It is the last phone that takes SIM cards, or not SIM cards, a memory card. And so I have not upgraded for that one sole purpose. And when I go and look at the new, they don't call them Note or they don't call them Ultras anymore. They call them something else. But when I go look at the same phone that's like this one, um, the camera zooms in up to 100 times as opposed to 50 like my phone does, and everything else is exactly the same. So if I don't have a reason to change, I'm not going to change. But I also was that person years ago where all of my cell phones were like I had cell phones for 2 or 3 years, got rid of them, and then they would be in the next Mission Impossible movie. And people are like, "Oh, what's that phone that he's using?" Right? I used to order my phones from overseas, and no one else had them. Like I was the guy that had the coolest phone at all times. Um, the Nokia N97, right? Like those. Oh man, my phones were incredible. But now all the phones are the same, and they're very 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 boring. If I'm being honest with you, but Droid is still head and shoulders better than iPhones. Beach house in Hawaii or a cabin in the mountains on 20 acres. Oh my God. All right. So for me personally, myself, I'm a cabin in the 20 acres guy for sure. Absolutely. I love outdoors. I love land space. I love animals, right? um, campfires and all that. Like, you were speaking to my soul. My wife hates all of that. It's weird because she doesn't like the beach, but she likes the sunshine. She hates sand. She hates ocean, but she loves sunshine and nice weather. So, and she hates the cold. I love snow, right? Like, that's my shit. So, but for me, I'm going cabin in the mountains, 20 acres. All right. Mark says, if it comes out that Kyle isn't cool with Jed and Parag trading Debo and thinking about trading Ayuk, do you think Kyle would quit? Snowfall was the name of it. Thank you, guys. Oh, thank you, Snowfall. Absolutely not. Kyle's not quitting. Kyle runs this entire team, man. No. Now, does that mean that I think that there isn't some dissension sometimes, that they don't always agree on some things? Absolutely. I do think that they don't agree on things, but Kyle, like, I think there's certain, like, I think John has, like, hey, there's 3 times where I get to push this button and no one can tell me no. And I think that Jed probably has a couple of those also. But for the most part, this is Kyle's show. But I do think that they have, like, I'm holding this card up. No one can stop me on this one. All right. Ben says, do you like martial arts movies? I like movies with different fighting techniques in them, but I'm not really like a Bruce Lee type of guy, right? Like, I never went back and watched all of Bruce Lee movies. I don't like that kind of shit. But I wouldn't mind watching. Like, when I was young, my favorite actor was Steven Seagal. And it's because I like watching him throw people 40 feet across the room with their wrists. Like, how did he do that, right? Like, so I won't lie and say I was never into it, but that was when I was a lot younger, you know. Have you watched Warrior on Netflix? I have not. What's it about? I have not watched it. There's 4 seasons of Yellowstone. Oh, I definitely got to get into this. Absolutely have to get into it. It's Mom Duke's birthday on Saturday. Can she get a special shout out? Hey, listen, it'll be midnight here on Friday, but I'll be doing a show Saturday night also. So I will make sure I do a special shout out for Mom Dukes. You know how I get down, man. All right. So absolutely. Also, what should we do? Any suggestions? What do you guys have up there in Canada that's cool? See what I did there? Up there in Canada, cool, cold weather. It's like a thing here in the States. We just assume Canada is covered in ice, but I know it's not. All right. I don't know what your mom is into, bro. I would take her out for a nice dinner, and you should do something like a little different. Like do the cards thing. Have options and, like, have her pick a card. Like, one says dinner, one says movie, right? And then, like, which restaurant to go to. Like, this one says this one says that one, and like let her choose her own fate without knowing. Like she has to kind of like blindly pick something like that. That would be kind of fun. Let's see. Do you still have TV or do you just stream everything? I think what you're asking is, do I have cable? I do not have cable. I have not had cable in years. But I also don't have, like, the YouTube TV and all that stuff. I use different services for those things. So, yeah, I don't have the Max or any of that stuff. All right. Oh, wrong one. Skipped it. Any chance you would hit up Joe Budden for a show next time the Niners play the Giants? Maybe. I know that the last time we played the Giants in the playoffs, he invited me over. Um, but I was watching that game with my dad. And when the Niners play the Giants, I'm actually going to that game. My pop has season tickets, so I'm going to that one. So I won't be hitting up Budden unless he's going to come to the game. But I doubt that. I don't think he's a football crowd type of guy. And the last question for the evening is, what is your biggest fear? Uh, Watching something terrible happen to my child and being helpless. Like, not being able to ease the pain or comfort or like do for my child when they need help and I can see it happening. That is absolutely my biggest fear. All right, guys, we are over 30 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be uploading these. Make sure you guys check out our podcast also, okay? We do have a Nothing But Niners podcast, okay? So I'm hoping to talk to you guys. Thank you all so much for your help. This show is nothing without you guys. Round of applause to you all. You've been great. You have been fantastic. And I will see y'all soon. Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey. See, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners.